Welcome to part 2 on how to create a management system in C++, and this is the second video in my series on creating management systems using C++. In this video, we'll see how structures can be used to store related information or data, and throughout this video, we'll be using a contact management system, for example. So whenever you see contacts in the phone, what information or data does each contact have? Or does what contact have? So there's the name, there's the phone number, and there's the email. And all these are related to one contact. So we need to find a way to store all this related information under one contact. So we group the name, the phone number, and the email, and we place it as one contact. And for us to do that, we'll have to use structures. Now, you might wonder, what is a structure? A structure is what's known as an abstract data type. I'm sure data type we know what that is, but let's focus on abstract. So the word abstract comes from the word abstraction, and an abstraction is more like a general way of naming something. Like we have said, anything with a name, a phone number, and an email is a contact, right? So we've generalized that as contacts. Then data types. We already know what data types are, and we've been using data types. Okay, now let me focus a little bit on abstraction. So using the same example I used before, what exactly is a contact? What do you see when you come across a contact on your phone book? All right, remember we kind of went through this. We said we see the name, we see their phone number, and we see their email. And all this can be grouped, and that's what makes a contact. So our task would be to put this in code, right? That's our task. So how do we create this structure in code? Well, let me go over this. But before I show how this is done in code, you need to understand the concept of a primitive data type. So primitive data types are the data types we've been using for a while. The data types you have been used to. These include Boolean data types, integers, doubles, etc. Primitive data types. So using the contact as an example, we know name should be a string and phone number should be a long, as stated in the previous video, and the email is also a string. Then the contact as a whole is now what our ADT is. In this case, for this video, a structure. Now, how do we show C++ that a group of different related data types, like the string, the long, and the other string, how do we show C++ that all this is related and it belongs to one contact? And we do this using a structure. So for us to create a structure, we'll put the keyword struct, then the structure name, which I have given here as contact. We open with a curly brace to mark the beginning of our structure. Then we now put in the primitive data types. String for the contact's name, a long for the contact's phone number, and a string for their email. We close our structure contact with a closing curly brace, and don't forget the semicolon, very important. So let me go over this in code. So I already coded the first half. It is exactly what was in the previous but let me just add a comment so it becomes clearer. So this just creates the custom data type contact. Then what's going to be in the main? Let's now create variables of this data type, the contact data type. Okay, a bit of an error with the spelling. All right. So for us to do this, the same way we create other data types, we say int, then the name. In this case, it's contact, then the name, and I'll call it first contact. So that's our first variable. Okay, so what this means is we have created a variable of the type contact, and we can do the same for second variable. Say contact, then second contact, then this, creates another variable of type contact. And if you noticed, I have started the name of my structure contact with capital letters, and it's kind of tradition for us to do it that way. Alright, so what these two lines of code have done is they have created the contacts variables. Now let's give these variables values. Alright, then the values will be given to these related data, the ones within the curly braces. Okay, and these are called member variables, so things like phone number. Yeah, so let's say first contact dot name equals Zulu Nathan. So that dot operator is what's used to give the name for first contact the value. And we can do this for the other data. Yeah, okay. Let me just explain what's going on. So the line 22 gives the member name of the first contact a value. Okay, and the second line does something similar. So the dot operator, then phone number, what this does is it gives the member, let me wrap name, put phone number of the first contact structure a value, and the same with email. Okay, now let's show or prove that these values have been stored. So another important thing to take away is whenever you put a dot, the structure name, then the dot, then the member, you can use it just as you use any other variable. In the same way we can see out a variable, we can do the same for the structure with the dot operator. And when we run this code, you see that Zulu Nathan, the phone number, and the email have been output. If you found this video helpful and learn about structures, you can like the video and subscribe to the channel for more educational content related to coding and technology.